Hello and welcome to Bahari News Kenya. Today we will take you through the life of Raila Amolo Odinga, arguably Kenya's enigma of politics. Raila Odinga was born at Maseno Church Missionary Society Hospital in Kisumu District, Nyanza Province on 7th of January 1945 to the late Maria Juma Odinga and the late Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, the first Vice President of the Republic of Kenya. Raila went to Kisumu Union Primary School, Maranda Primary School and Maranda High School, where he stayed until 1962. He spent the next 2 years at Adara Institute, a part of the philological faculty at the University of Leipzig in East Germany. Raila Odinga received a scholarship that in 1965 sent him to the technical school in Magdeburg. In 1970, he graduated with a master's degree in mechanical engineering. He returned to Kenya in 1970. In 1971, he established the Standard Processing Equipment Construction and Direction Company that specialized in manufacturing liquid petroleum gas cylinders. In 1974, he was appointed Group Standards Manager of the Kenya Bureau of Standards. In 1978, he was promoted to its Deputy Director, a post he held until 1982 detention. Raila Odinga is married to Ida Odinga, with whom they have 4 children: the late Fidel Castro, Rosemary Odinga, Raila Jr. and Winnie Odinga. Raila Odinga married Ida Oyo on September 1, 1973. Together they have 4 children. Until his untimely demise, Fidel was a businessman and a solid pillar in his father's political endeavors. He is survived by his widow Luam Bekele and their son Alei Raila Odinga. Rosemary Odinga is a passionate educationist serving as the director of the Raila Odinga Center. This institution is dedicated to improving education standards across the country, with its main program operating out of Kibera slums in Nairobi. Raila Odinga Jr., his father's namesake, is a businessman with varied interests from energy to entertainment. He is married to Yvonne Kibukosia. Winnie Odinga serves as the director of Green Outreach Foundation Africa, an initiative centered around renewable energy to meet the emerging demands of the modern-day world. She is also a professional photographer. In 1982, Raila Odinga was placed under house arrest for 7 months by the late Daniel Arap Moi. Raila was later charged with treason following his political agitation for wider democratic space and detained without trial for 6 years. His mother died in 1984, but it took the prison wardens 2 months to inform him of her passing away, an experience he openly confesses that one of the most traumatizing in his hitherto eventful life. Released on 6 February 1988, he was rearrested in September 1988 for his involvement with human rights and pro-democracy activists pressing for multi-party democracy in Kenya, which was then a one-party state. Raila Odinga was released on 12 June 1989, only to be incarcerated again on 5 July 1990, together with Kenneth Matiba and former Nairobi Mayor Charles Rubia. Raila Odinga was released on 21 June 1991, and in October he fled the country for Norway with a hint that the Kenyan government would attempt to assassinate him. At the time of Raila's departure to Norway, the Forum for the Restoration of Democracy (FORD), a movement formed to agitate for the return of the multi-party democracy to Kenya, was newly formed. In February 1992, Raila returned to join FORD, then led by his father Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. He was elected the vice chairman of the General Purposes Committee of the party. In the months running up to the 1992 general election, FORD split into FORD Kenya, led by Raila's father Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, and FORD Asili, led by Kenneth Matiba. Raila won the Lang'ata constituency parliamentary seat, previously held by Philip Liki of Kanu. When Jaramogi Oginga Odinga died in January 1994, and Michael Omalo Kijana succeeded him as FORD Kenya chairman, Raila challenged him for the party leadership. The elections were marred by controversy, after which Raila resigned from FORD Kenya to join the National Development Party (NDP). In the 1997 general election, Raila finished third after President Moi, the incumbent and the Democratic Party candidate Mwai Kibaki. He retained his position as the Lang'ata Member of Parliament. After the election, RAILA supported the Moi government and led a merger between his party NDP and Moi's KANU party. He served in Moi's cabinet as the energy minister from June 2001 to 2002 during Moi's final term. In the subsequent KANU elections held later that year, he was elected the party's Secretary General, replacing the late J.J. Kamotho. In 2002, then the president, the late Daniel Arap Moi, pulled a surprise by endorsing Uhuru Kenyatta, son of the Kenya's first president, Jomo Kenyatta, to be his successor. Moi publicly asked RAILA and others to support Uhuru as well. RAILA and other KANU members, including his current deputy in the CORD coalition, Kalonzo Musyoka, the late George Saitoti, and the late Joseph Kamotho, opposed this step, arguing that then 38-year-old Uhuru was politically inexperienced and lacked the leadership qualities needed to govern. The Rainbow Movement went on to join Liberal Democratic Party, which later teamed up with Mwai Kibaki's National Alliance Party of Kenya, a coalition of several other parties to form National Rainbow Coalition that eventually defeated Moi's protege, Uhuru Kenyatta. Raila Odinga became the second father of the multi-party democracy in Kenya after Kenneth Matiba. Then President Kibaki failed to honor a pre-election agreement regarding political equity among the stakeholders and knock on the pledge made to the Kenyan people to review the Kenyan constitution within 100 days of the election. Raila Odinga opposed this, and when the document was put to a referendum on 21st November 2005, the government lost by 57% to 43% margin. Following this, President Kibaki sacked the entire cabinet on November 23, 2005. When it was formed 2 weeks later, Raila and the entire LDP group were left out. This led to formation of the Orange Democratic Movement. In August 2007, the Orange Democratic Movement Kenya split into two, with Odinga becoming head of the Orange Democratic Movement (ODM), while the other faction, the ODMK, was headed by Kalonzo Musyoka. On 1st September 2007, the ODM elected Odinga as its presidential candidate in the National Delegates Conference held at the Moi International Sports Center in Nairobi. Odinga received 2,656 votes. The only other candidates receiving significant numbers of votes were Musalia Mudavadi with 391 and William Ruto with 368. Earlier, Najib Balala had withdrawn his candidature and endorsed Raila Odinga. The defeated candidates expressed their support for Odinga afterward, and Mudavadi was named as his running mate. Raila Odinga launched his presidential campaign in Uhuru Park in Nairobi on 6 October 2007. Following the presidential election held on 27 December, the Electoral Commission declared Kibaki the winner on 30th December 2007, placing him ahead of Odinga by about 232,000 votes. Raila Odinga and his ODM leaders rallied against the decision, with James Orengo and Professor Anyang' Nyong'o calling for mass action. Later, violence broke out in the country after widespread incidents of police brutality. Following 2 months of unrest, a peace deal between Odinga and Kibaki, which was provided for sharing and creation of a post of the Prime Minister, was signed in February 2008. It was brokered by former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. Odinga was sworn in as the Prime Minister along the power-sharing cabinet on the 17th of April 2008. The post of Prime Minister was last held by Jomo Kenyatta between 1963 and 1964 following independence. Odinga is thus the second person in Kenya's history to hold the Prime Minister's position. In 2013 presidential election, Raila Odinga's party Orange Democratic Movement (ODM) joined Kalonzo Musyoka's Wiper Party and Moses Wetangula Ford Kenya in a CORD coalition for the presidential race, with Raila Odinga as the presidential candidate and Kalonzo as his running mate. Raila ran for the president in the elections held on 4th March 2013 and garnered 5,340,546 votes, totaling to 43.7% out of the total 12,221,053 valid votes cast. Uhuru Kenyatta garnered 6,173,433 votes, totaling to 50.51%, as this was the above 50% plus one vote threshold, Uhuru won it on the first round without requiring a runoff between the top two candidates. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission therefore officially declared Uhuru Kenyatta the president-elect on Saturday 9th March at 2:44 p.m. Uhuru was set to take office as the Kenya's fourth president. However, Raila Odinga in the press conference shortly after the results were announced noted that the elections had been marred by massive failures of the BVR kits. He stated that the man who tallying was suspect, leaving him no choice but to contest the results in Kenya's highest court, the Supreme Court. Mindful of bringing the challenge, Raila Odinga and his lawyers George Oraro, Mutula Kilonzo and James Orengo secretly instructed Rajpal Sena, a management consultant from Barcelona, to carry out forensic investigations on the technology used in the Kenyan general election 2013, during which the IEBC made claims on TV and media that there were technological challenges, that servers overloaded, and that database crashed. Rajpal Sena included in this work a forensic examination of the evidence of the IEBC and Uhuru Kenyatta in relation to technology deployed during the Kenyan presidential elections. Raila Odinga and his lawyers then took appropriate legal steps to verify the findings of Rajpal Sena by consulting authorities in the USA and the United Kingdom. The findings of the Rajpal Sena were then documented in his witness statement for Raila Odinga and became to be known Witness Statement R06. Kenya's Chief Justice Dr. William Mutunga announced on Monday, 11th March, that the Supreme Court was fully formed and ready to deliver its judgment within 14 days as stipulated by the Constitution of Kenya. During the petition hearing, Chief Justice William Mutunga made a finding rejecting second affidavit of Raila Odinga, which comprised 900 pages, on the basis that it amounted to a new evidence which is not permitted under the Constitution. Subsequently, the Supreme Court issued a ruling dismissing the petition on 30th March 2013. The Supreme Court, while declaring Uhuru the next president, also declared that the IEBC should not have included the invalid polled votes in the calculation of the final figures and percentages. Chief Justice William Mutunga also directed the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and the Director of Public Prosecution carry out criminal investigations on the IEBC in relation to BVR kits. Currently, Raila Odinga now serves the public of the Kenya as the leader of the official opposition keen to ensure the full and proper implementation of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Currently, Raila Odinga holds a special position as the Special Envoy to African Union. Raila's office is based in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. He, however, has another office in Nairobi, complete with staff and advisors to keep his Building Bridges initiative with Uhuru Kenyatta on track and also manage his local presence. Thank you so much for watching. For more videos like these, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Bahari News Kenya, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell to make sure that you never miss any of these videos. My name is John Matavam.